Belly is about to make the most dangerous decision of her life in the Summer I Turned Pretty Season 3, Episode 8. And no, I'm not exaggerating, because this is the episode where everything she has been ignoring, everything she has been running away from, and everything she has been lying about will finally explode in her face. This is not just another love triangle twist. This is the point of no return, where Belly risks destroying not only herself, but also Conrad and Jeremiah forever. If you thought her mistakes in Episode 7 were shocking, just wait until you see how much worse things get in Episode 8. The trailer for Episode 8 wastes no time in showing us the disaster that is coming. Belly looks completely torn apart, Jeremiah looks like he's ready to walk away, and Conrad, well, Conrad is still Conrad, carrying all that heartbreak in silence, trying to act like he's fine when we know he's dying inside. And honestly, can you blame him? The man literally confessed his love to Belly, something he has been holding back for years, and she shut him down. But now, Belly has to deal with the consequences of that confession, because Jeremiah is not stupid. He knows something happened. And trust me when I say this, Jeremiah's calm face in the trailer is way more terrifying than if he were actually yelling. He looks like he is seconds away from breaking completely. And when Jeremiah breaks, we know things will never go back to normal. What makes this trailer so wild is the tension you can literally feel in every single second. Belly is stuck in this impossible position. On one hand, she promised Jeremiah forever, planned a wedding with him, and acted like she was over Conrad. But deep down, she is still very much tied to Conrad in ways she cannot admit. And Jeremiah knows this. The look on his face when Belly hesitates for even a moment is pure devastation. It's like he realizes that no matter what he does, he will never fully have her heart. And the worst part, he is absolutely right. Belly can deny it. She can scream about how she's over Conrad. She can even convince herself that marrying Jeremiah will fix everything. But the truth is, her heart never left Conrad. And once Jeremiah accepts that truth, that's when this story gets dangerous. Because this is not just about love anymore. This is about betrayal, pride, and years of rivalry boiling over at the worst possible time. The trailer also hints at a shocking confrontation between Conrad and Jeremiah. And guys, if you thought the brothers could ever work this out peacefully, think again. The moment Jeremiah learns the full truth, that Conrad confessed to Belly just days before the wedding, he will lose it. And I mean lose it completely. This is not just about Belly anymore. This is about Jeremiah's entire life of feeling second best. Second best to Conrad in sports, second best to Conrad in school, second best to Conrad in their family, and now second best in love. And when you add cheating, lies, and Belly's emotional breakdown into the mix, there is no way this stays civil. The trailer shows us glimpses of tension so thick that you can practically feel a fight coming. And let's be real, this is exactly what fans have been waiting for. 3 seasons of build-up, and now we are finally about to see the Fisher brothers explode. But here's the thing that makes it even worse. Belly, instead of stopping the chaos, actually fuels it. She tells Jeremiah that she can't marry him without being honest, which sounds noble, right? But in reality, it only makes things worse because the timing could not be more terrible. Imagine telling your fiancé that his own brother just confessed his love to you 2 days before the wedding. Like, Belly, what are you thinking? Did she really expect Jeremiah to smile, say thank you for being honest, and continue with the wedding like nothing happened? Number, absolutely not. This revelation is the ultimate betrayal to Jeremiah. It proves his deepest fear, that Belly has always been tied to Conrad, even when she swore she was choosing him. And in that moment, Jeremiah finally sees the truth. He was never Belly's first choice. That's why this episode is about to destroy everything. Because once Jeremiah knows, there's no going back. He will question her loyalty, her love, and even her honesty. He will think back to every moment they shared and wonder if she was secretly wishing it was Conrad all along. And let's be honest, she was. We saw it in Episode 7. We saw it in the way she cried after Conrad confessed. We saw it in the way she hesitated to even look Jeremiah in the eyes. Belly may try to deny it, but her actions scream the truth. And Jeremiah is not the kind of person to just forget this. He may forgive her once, maybe twice, but not when it involves Conrad. Not when it feels like history repeating itself. And that is why the Fisher brothers' relationship will never recover from this. Because this isn't just about Belly, this is about years of resentment finally breaking free. And honestly, this trailer is brilliant for showing us just enough to leave us shaking. We don't know if the wedding will happen, we don't know if Jeremiah will walk away, and we don't know if Belly will finally admit her true feelings for Conrad. But what we do know is that this episode is the breaking point. Everything changes here. There is no safe ending after episode 8. No matter what Belly decides, someone will get destroyed. And judging from her track record, I think it might end up being all of them. If there is one thing this trailer makes crystal clear, it's that Belly is running out of time. Every decision she has avoided, every emotion she has buried, is clawing its way to the surface. The wedding isn't just a backdrop anymore, it has turned into a ticking time bomb. And the problem is, Belly keeps acting like she can control the explosion. She thinks that by being honest now, she can somehow patch the cracks. But in reality, her honesty comes too late. That's the real tragedy of Belly's character. She doesn't realize that timing is everything. Being honest after you've already lied, being honest after you've already hurt someone doesn't heal them. It just proves that you weren't brave enough to face the truth when it mattered most. And that's what Jeremiah sees. He doesn't see Belly as noble, he sees her as reckless. And that's why this wedding is collapsing before it even begins. Now let's talk about Conrad, because his presence in episode 8 is a storm all on its own. Conrad has always been the one to step back, to sacrifice, to stay quiet for the sake of peace. But in this trailer, for the first time, we see him cornered. He confessed his love, he bared his heart, and Belly dismissed him like it meant nothing. But the truth is, it meant everything. And you can tell Conrad is spiraling. The way he looks at Belly, the way he hesitates to even stay in the same room as Jeremiah, it's clear he knows he has set something in motion that he cannot stop. For years, he carried the guilt of keeping his feelings hidden. Now, for the first time, he carries the guilt of speaking them out loud. And the tragedy is, no matter what Conrad does in this episode, he loses. If he fights for Belly, he destroys his brother. If he lets her go, he destroys himself. There is no win for Conrad here. And that's why this episode feels so suffocating. Every choice is poison, and Conrad knows it. And here's where Jeremiah becomes truly dangerous. The Jeremiah we've seen so far has been patient, kind, even forgiving at times. But that Jeremiah is gone. This Jeremiah has been humiliated, betrayed, and pushed to the edge. The trailer shows flashes of his anger, the way his voice shakes when he questions Belly, the way his eyes burn when he looks at Conrad. And that's what makes this version of Jeremiah so chilling. He isn't exploding in loud, dramatic ways. He's simmering, holding it all in, until the moment he finally snaps. And when he does, it will not be pretty. Because this fight between Jeremiah and Conrad isn't just about Belly. It's about everything. It's about who has always been favored, who has always been loved more, who has always been the better brother. Jeremiah has been living in Conrad's shadow his entire life, and now he's about to lash out in a way we've never seen before. But let's not pretend Belly is just some innocent bystander caught in their rivalry. No, she is the match that lights this fire. And the trailer makes it obvious that she still doesn't get it. She still doesn't realize the weight of what she has done. She walks into conversations with Jeremiah as if an apology will make it better. She looks at Conrad with those tear-filled eyes as if that somehow excuses her choices. And honestly, it's infuriating. Because Belly has had chances, so many chances, to stop this from happening. She could have been clear with Jeremiah. She could have been honest about her feelings for Conrad. She could have chosen not to get engaged so young, so recklessly. But instead, she doubled down. She ignored the red flags. And now, she wants to act shocked when everything falls apart? Number. Belly may be the heart of this story, but she is also the one tearing it to pieces. And here's the cruel irony. Belly thinks she's fighting for love, but what she's really doing is fighting for attention. She wants to be loved the most, to be chosen, to feel secure. But love isn't about being adored. Love is about choosing someone even when it's hard, even when it's messy, even when it means sacrifice. And Belly doesn't know how to do that yet. She doesn't know how to love without destroying something in the process. That's why her relationships with both brothers feel doomed, because she isn't ready to love either of them the way they deserve. And that truth, the fact that Belly might not actually be ready for love at all, is what makes episode 8 so heartbreaking. The trailer gives us just enough to see where this is going. A confession that can't be taken back. A wedding that can't move forward. A fight between brothers that can't be undone. And Belly, right in the middle, trying to hold on to both of them when she should be letting go. The tension is unbearable, and that's exactly why this episode feels like the breaking point. It's not about who Belly chooses anymore, it's about who survives the fallout. And from the looks of it, none of them will come out unscarred. The scariest part of this entire storyline is not just that the love triangle is falling apart, but that Belly herself is unraveling right in front of us. The trailer doesn't show her as a strong bride-to-be confidently walking down the aisle. No, it shows a girl breaking under the weight of choices she should never have made in the first place. You can see it in her eyes, the way she keeps looking down, the way she trembles when Jeremiah presses her for the truth. Belly has always been emotional, but in episode 8, she looks like she's finally realizing the true cost of her actions. And here's the thing, regret doesn't undo damage. No matter how many tears she cries, no matter how many apologies she offers, she cannot put the pieces back together. And watching her try, watching her desperately cling to this fantasy of a perfect wedding with Jeremiah feels almost cruel, because the harder she tries to save it, the faster it slips away. And that's exactly what makes Conrad's role here so devastating. For once, he isn't the one who looks confused. He isn't the one running away, shutting people out, hiding his emotions. In fact, it's the opposite. Conrad finally spoke his truth. He said out loud what we all knew he's been holding in since day one, that he still loves Belly, that he has always loved Belly, and the tragedy is, it's too late. He knows it, Jeremiah knows it, and Belly knows it. The wedding is already planned, the vows are already written, and yet, Conrad's confession hovers over every single moment like a shadow. And that shadow is what breaks Jeremiah the most. Because imagine standing at the altar knowing that the girl you love is still crying over your brother. That is the nightmare Jeremiah is living in. And that's why his anger isn't just about Conrad confessing. It's about everything Conrad represents. The life Jeremiah could never have, the love Jeremiah could never fully win, the truth he has been trying to ignore since the beginning. The trailer makes it very clear that the Fisher brothers are heading toward a clash we can't look away from. Jeremiah is furious. His patience finally snapped, and Conrad looks like he's ready to take whatever beating comes his way. And honestly, you can't even blame either of them. Jeremiah feels like his entire future is being ripped away from him, and Conrad feels like his heart has already been ripped out. It's raw, it's messy, and it's violent. Not just physically, but emotionally. These aren't just two brothers fighting over a girl. This is years of resentment, jealousy, and unspoken truths exploding in the ugliest way possible. And Belly, she is the spark that set it off, but she's powerless to stop it. For once, it isn't about her choice. It's about their pain. And that's what makes it so brutal to watch. But here's where things get even darker. Jeremiah has always been the safe choice for Belly, the one who makes her laugh, the one who comforts her, the one who is steady where Conrad is stormy. But in this episode, we see that side of him crack. The Jeremiah in episode 8 is not safe. He's unpredictable, he's wounded, and he's ready to fight. And honestly, this makes Belly's situation even more dangerous. Because once Jeremiah realizes that she still carries feelings for Conrad, he won't just be angry at his brother, he'll be angry at her too. The betrayal cuts both ways. And when Jeremiah turns that anger on Belly, it forces her to face a truth she's been avoiding all season, that she cannot keep stringing him along. That pretending to choose him while secretly yearning for Conrad is not just unfair, it's cruel. And Jeremiah finally sees it for what it is. The irony here is almost painful. Belly thought choosing Jeremiah would make things easier. She thought that by saying yes to him, she could bury her feelings for Conrad once and for all. She thought the wedding would tie everything neatly into a bow, as if marriage could erase her doubts. But the truth is, choosing Jeremiah only made the love triangle more unbearable. Because now, instead of quietly wrestling with her feelings, she's being forced to confront them in the most public, humiliating way possible, right before her wedding. And honestly, I almost feel bad for her. Almost. Because while her pain is real, it's also self-inflicted. She walked into this fire with her eyes open, and now she's shocked that it's burning her. The trailer hints that this is where Belly hits rock bottom. She's not just caught between two brothers anymore, she's caught between the person she wants to be and the person she really is. She wants to be the girl who is loyal, honest, and committed, but in reality, she's the girl who hesitates, who doubts, who breaks promises. And the saddest part is, I don't think she even knows which version of herself is real anymore. That's why she looks so broken in the trailer. That's why she keeps crying, why she keeps spiraling. Because she's realizing that no matter who she chooses, she loses. And maybe, just maybe, that means she isn't ready to choose anyone at all. And this, right here, is the true horror of episode 8. It's not just about whether the wedding happens, it's about whether Belly can finally admit the truth. To Jeremiah, to Conrad, and most importantly, to herself. Because until she does, this cycle of heartbreak will never end. And honestly, after watching this trailer, I don't think we're anywhere close to seeing her break that cycle. If anything, it looks like she's about to make things even worse. The wedding that was supposed to be a celebration of love is quickly turning into a battlefield. And honestly, the trailer makes it clear. There is no saving this disaster. The cracks in Belly and Jeremiah's relationship are too deep, and every moment they try to hold it together just makes it worse. Jeremiah's anger is not the kind that goes away with an apology. It's the kind that builds, that festers, that makes you look at the person you love and wonder if you ever really knew them at all. When Belly admits that Conrad confessed his love to her, it doesn't matter how many times she insists she doesn't feel the same. Jeremiah sees the hesitation, he sees the guilt, and he knows. He knows she's lying to herself, and that's even worse than lying to him. Because how do you marry someone who doesn't even know what's in their own heart? You don't. And that's why this wedding feels doomed before it even begins. And then there's Conrad. Poor, complicated, frustrating Conrad, who once again finds himself in the worst possible position. He never wanted to sabotage Jeremiah's happiness. He never wanted to ruin the wedding. All he did was finally admit the truth. And now, that truth has destroyed everything. You can see it in the trailer. The way Conrad looks almost ashamed of his own feelings. The way he tries to pull back as if his presence alone is toxic. And maybe it is. Maybe just by existing, Conrad makes this wedding impossible. Because no matter how much Jeremiah loves Belly, no matter how much Belly tries to commit, Conrad is always there in the background. The boy she grew up with, the boy she cried over, the boy who has held her heart in one way or another since the beginning. And the tragedy is, Conrad doesn't even have to fight for her anymore. His presence alone is enough to shatter Jeremiah's confidence, enough to remind Belly of what she can't let go of. And that's why Jeremiah lashes out. Not just because Conrad confessed, but because Conrad exists as a constant reminder that Jeremiah will never truly win. The trailer teases the brothers' inevitable confrontation, and it's not just verbal. Jeremiah finally explodes, and Conrad finally takes the hit. Years of bottled resentment pour out in one brutal moment. And while some fans might cheer for Jeremiah finally standing up for himself, let's be real, this fight is heartbreaking. It's not just about who gets Belly. It's about two brothers who once loved each other more than anything now being torn apart by the one girl they both can't let go of. It's the destruction of a bond that should have been unbreakable. And the saddest part is that once the punches are thrown, there's no going back. You don't come back from physically fighting your brother over a girl. You don't look each other in the eye the same way again. And Belly, watching this unfold, finally sees the full damage of what her indecision has caused. This isn't just about her happiness anymore, it's about the wreckage of a family. And what does Belly do in the middle of this chaos? She breaks down, of course. But this time her tears don't inspire sympathy. They inspire frustration. Because by now, it's impossible to ignore that Belly brought this on herself. She thought she could have it both ways. Jeremiah's stability and Conrad's passion. She thought she could push her doubts aside, bury her feelings, and walk down the aisle with a clear conscience. But love doesn't work like that. You can't marry one brother while your heart is still tied to the other. You can't lie to yourself and expect the truth to stay buried forever. And Belly is learning that lesson the hardest way possible. Her fantasy of a perfect wedding is collapsing, and all she can do is watch as the people she loves most destroy each other right in front of her. The real heartbreak of this episode, though, isn't just Belly losing her wedding. It's the Fisher brothers losing each other. Conrad and Jeremiah's relationship has always been complicated, but at the end of the day, they were still brothers. They were still family. But after this, after the lies, the cheating, the confessions, the punches, there's no easy path back. The trailer shows Jeremiah storming away, his face twisted with betrayal, while Conrad looks more broken than ever. And Belly, she's left standing in the middle, realizing that her choice has cost her not just love, but peace. She hasn't just ruined her own future, she's ruined theirs too. Spirate to hold on to Jeremiah no matter the cost? Will Jeremiah finally walk away, choosing self-respect over a relationship built on lies? Or will Conrad's quiet exit be the real ending, with him sacrificing his own happiness so the other two can have peace? None of these outcomes feel satisfying, and that's exactly why this episode feels so thrilling. Because for the first time in The Summer I Turned Pretty, there's no obvious happy ending. Every path Belly takes leads to heartbreak. And maybe that's the real lesson of this season. Love isn't just about choosing the right person, it's about being ready for the choice in the first place. And Belly isn't ready. She's still too young, too impulsive, too desperate to be loved rather than truly knowing how to love. That's why this wedding is falling apart. That's why the Fisher brothers are breaking in front of us. Because Belly tried to build a forever when she's still figuring out who she is, and the result is devastation. For her, for Conrad, and for Jeremiah. The trailer ends without answers, and that's what makes it so unbearable. We're left hanging on the edge, knowing the wedding is crumbling, knowing the brothers are shattered, knowing Belly is trapped in a choice she cannot make. Will the wedding collapse in front of everyone? Will Jeremiah finally see through Belly's denial and leave her at the altar? Will Conrad disappear, leaving Belly to realize too late that he was the one she wanted all along? We don't know yet, and that's the point. The suspense is suffocating, because no matter what happens next, one thing is certain. Episode 8 is the end of innocence for all three of them. The love triangle that once felt like a teenage dream has turned into a nightmare, and none of them will ever be the same again. So get ready, because this isn't just another dramatic episode. This is the collapse of everything Belly thought she wanted, and the beginning of something far darker. The wedding might still happen, but it won't be the fairy tale ending she imagined. It will be a turning point, a breaking point, and maybe even the moment Belly finally realizes that love, when mishandled, can destroy more than it saves. And if episode 7 made you mad, episode 8 will break you.